Blog Talk Radio.
Start the audio.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everyone. Oh, starting. Yeah, go on.
Welcome to Chat with Camille show. This is Camille.
I'm here.
And today we're going to have a very special guest by the name of Mr. Benjamin Weigel. The reason why I asked him to be a guest on this show is to talk about different veterans' needs. And also I can give you, and I'd love to give you a little background on Ben. He's a 13-year Marine.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hope she calls back. Hi everyone. I hope everyone's doing really good. It looks like we're on live. And I need my caller or guest to call me one more time. So let me do that now. And I'm not sure why the incorrect episode was playing, even though it's a really good one. Because this is part 2 of our episode on what is lymphedema. Oh, there she is. Okay. There we go. I think I see it. I see our hello?
Hi.
Hi. Sorry about that. You know me in this studio. How are you?
Good.
Excellent. Okay. This is part 2 of what is lymphedema. Okay, and I don't know if a lot of you were able to listen to our original show, but I'm chatting with a wonderful friend named Arden, and what we're talking about is a physical condition called lymphedema, and the goal of this episode is to raise awareness about lymphedema itself. Okay? And so last time, they asked you some questions. So let me get those real quick. But did you want to please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi. My name is Arden, and I'm from Livingston, New Jersey, originally, which is on the East Coast.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. And currently, Arden and we reside in Kern County. Okay. So, let me see where we were, because I asked you quite a few questions. We were really pretty much at you had, I think it was about receiving your mammogram, if I'm not correct. If I'm not mistaken. Was it?
That's correct.
When did you? Yes. Like how often were you receiving a mammogram? So we'll start there from the last episode.
With my insurance, it was only once a year.
Once a year. Okay. And this is a question I think a lot of us women would like to know. Like, how did you know that you could be at risk for breast cancer or for cancer?
My aunt got breast cancer. My mom's sister got breast cancer when I was around 10. And then it came back when I was about 13 or so.
Okay. And so this means you had a history already in the family. And then can you talk a little bit about the genetic testing of BRCA that you had spoken to me about?
Yes. I did genetic testing I went to Memorial Sloan Kettering, and that's the biggest cancer hospital in New York City. And
what's the name of it?
Did Memorial Sloan Kettering. They're in New York City.
Okay.
And they asked me to do genetic testing. And so I set up with the genetics department to do genetic testing, and it's based on a bunch of questions about your family history, about age, and about genetics, about your grandparents, your aunts, uncles. I didn't know anything about my great-grandparents, so I couldn't answer that one. But they go back in history, with your genetics. And they take blood to do genetic testing. And there's something called BRCA positive and BRCA negative. And that's with your genetics, your history with your mom. And I was BRCA positive negative. So I wasn't BRCA positive. But my sister is BRCA positive. So when somebody is BRCA positive, and this is what they explained to me, that if somebody's BRCA positive, they automatically do a double mastectomy. They take out your ovaries, and they do that because they're basing that on genetics. Yeah. And but I didn't have that, so they didn't do that on me. But they did that with my sister, and it turned out that she got I'm assuming early stages of breast cancer, and so the two of us.
What year was hers in comparison?
Mine was diagnosed in September. Mine was diagnosed in September of 2017, and hers was diagnosed in June of 2019.
Oh wow! Okay, so 2 years later. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's spelled BRCA, BRCA, for the audience. It's BRCA, right? And it's called the breast cancer gene. Yes.
Yes.
BRCA, and they have 1 and 2. Okay, but it's spelled CA, and it's the abbreviation for breast cancer gene. All right, so I just wanted the honest to know, because they may not know a whole lot about it, because I happened to hear about it some time ago. But at any rate, so so first you have it, and then you said your sister also had cancer as well. And then what do you think about your overall medical help during that time when you were diagnosed until now?
Oh, well, I had aggressive stage 3 breast cancer. There are 4 stages of breast cancer: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And mine was aggressive stage 3, so it was rapidly going into stage 4. But it hadn't got. Well, stage 4 is when the cancer goes into your liver or your kidneys or your lungs or other organs in your body. But mine hadn't gotten to those other organs yet. They were floating towards them.
Okay, so you're stage 3. And then if you could just remind the audience of what your process was once you're diagnosed with stage 3 from our first episode, please.
Okay. I went to Memorial Sloan Kettering. They had gotten my mammogram, the CD. They looked at my CD, and they saw that there were 3 tumors in my breast in 3 different places of my breast. And it's like a clock, and then it's like number 6, is where one of the tumors were. Number 7 was where the other tumor was, and number 11 was where the other tumor was. So that's what I was told after they did the biopsy. Before the oncologist and the surgeon could talk to me, they had to do a biopsy, and then they send it to a lab, and they get the results, and then they have to do a PET scan, which is a scan of your whole body to see if the cancer is anywhere else. And then you go and they make you an appointment with the surgeon and the oncologist, and you talk to them, and that's when you find out what stage you are in and what is the next step that you're going to take.
Okay. Wow. And then after they scan body, and then do they begin to talk to you? Does the doctor begin to talk to you about treatment once they find out what your stage is? Okay.
Yes. The surgeon came in, and her name, she explained, Dr. Kirsten explained to me what stage my cancer was in, and that she explained that there are 4 stages, and mine was aggressive stage 3, where it was rapidly growing quickly. And there's 72 types of breast cancer, which I did not know there was. And mine was the most common one, which is BRCA positive. Resector positive. And you could be BRCA negative or BRCA positive. And that's how they find out where you stand.
Okay.
And mine, I found out. At first, the surgeon wanted me to do a clinical trial. And when I heard that, and my friend Sandy was with me, and I heard, aggressive stage 3, and I had read up on the stages myself, and I just decided that I wanted to just go through the chemotherapy and not do a clinical trial, because a clinical trial, what they do in a clinical trial, and this is what was explained to me, was that you either get a placebo, which is a pill that's just, it's not medical, a pill, or you get the medicine, that the pill they would be experimenting with. You don't know if you're going to get if you're going to get one or the other, and that's how they do the clinical trial. So you don't know. You only know because they tell you at the end what pill they gave you.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't want to take that. I just didn't want to take that route.
Yes. And so, what route did you decide that you wanted to take?
Well, I went for chemo because it was in the later stages of breast cancer, and I just felt, well, first of all, I didn't know really how chemo would affect you because I had never gone through it. I was a CNA, so I took care of other people that may have had breast cancer, but if you've never gone through it, you don't know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I chose to go through chemo, and they gave me A and C. It was a long other name. It starts with a D, but I can't say it. And A and C is the abbreviation of it. And then I had to take another drug, which is an easier name, called Toxol, Coxol, and that's another chemo drug. And they're very potent chemo drugs because I was in my later stage of cancer. So I when you're in stage 3 or stage 4, they give you more potent chemo than they would on stage 1 or 2. Everybody's diagnosis is different, and how they treat them is different individually.
Okay. And then I'm going to go back just a little bit. You used a term, receptive. I think you said receptive positive. Is that correct?
Positive. It's
receptor positive.
RECPTOR. Yeah, receptor positive. That's a type of breast cancer that I have, and that's the most common one that a lot of people are diagnosed with.
Okay. So that's receptor positive. Okay. And so that's for women. It's with the women. I hope I'm saying this correct. Hormone therapy for breast cancer with hormone receptor positive invasive breast cancer treated with surgery. It's treated with surgery.
They can treat it with. It depends on the patient. For instance, I had the chemo first so that it could see if they could shrink the tumors down in size. But from what I understood, the chemo didn't shrink them down at all. And then I had I chose, you can either have a single mastectomy, which I had it on my right breast. Excuse me, I'm sorry. On my right breast, so they can do a single mastectomy, or since they said it would come back in my other breast, I chose to have that was my choice, to have a double mastectomy because I didn't want to go through this again.
Yes. And
have another, take that chance of it coming back like it did with my aunt. So I figured I'd just get it over with. And so I did a double mastectomy. And then you have a choice of speaking to a plastic surgeon while you're speaking to the surgeon. And when you go for that mastectomy, they can put a spacer in between your breastbone so that they can let the breastbone spacer work, and that way they can do reconstructive surgery. But you have to make up that decision before you have the surgery with the surgeon. You can't do it after, from what I was told.
Yes. Okay, so you did chemotherapy and a double mastectomy. And then how many rounds of chemotherapy, just an estimate, how many rounds of chemotherapy did you receive? And also I think last time you spoke about 8. Radiation. Over 8. Okay.
And I did over 8 treatments of chemo with the 2 different kinds of drugs. And then I also lost my hair. My friend Margaret took me to get my hair shaved, and I wore wigs. And then after I healed for like 6 weeks or so. Well, I had my surgery in April 4th, 2018 is my double mastectomy, and then in June of 2018, I started I was going to have more than 25 rounds of radiation. They put you in a CAT scan, and then they shoot radiation into where the cancer was in your breast, in your right breast.
Okay.
And I did that.
Okay, so you did radiation as well?
Yes, they did chemo and they did radiation because my cancer was so advanced.
Yes, and then now, because I'm asking these questions because I don't know a lot about the treatment side of cancer, and I'm sure a lot of people
excuse me, a lot of people don't know either. They know of, people who receive a diagnosis, but what is actually the process? And so what we're getting into in this episode is the process that Arden has gone through, and she's letting us know, because I think this is very important. I'm also attempting to ask questions so that we all have clarity also. Now, I want to ask about I'm still going to stay just for a moment on the chemo and radiation. So you did chemotherapy, and then you did radiation. Did I understand you correctly? Was it a year apart? Or did you do it all at the same time?
I got diagnosed in September of 2017 when I went to Memorial Sloan Kettering. And then they set me up in October 4th. October 4th is when I started the chemo. So that was my first treatment. But before that, so those next couple of weeks from early, I don't even remember when I went to Sloan Kettering the first time. It's a blank to me because I think I was in shock when I got the diagnosis. Yeah. I had to go through a biopsy, and with a doctor that did a biopsy, and she was actually from St. Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey, and she worked under my mom's oncologist, my mom's OBGYN and my OBGYN, and she worked under him. And so that was interesting, and so I felt comfortable there. And
okay.
And then when they got the results of that, the biopsy, that's when the surgeon called me in. And, I got a PET scan too, and then the surgeon called me in for my next appointment, and told me, what the results were from all the tests that she did, and then when we were going to schedule surgery, which was supposed to be March 6th, but because I had a blood pressure problem, they made it a month later.
Yes. All right. And then let me, so after the treatment was done, you were finished with everything. What were your next steps?
Well, I did the radiation, and Sandy took me and got to ring a bell that meant that I was done with the radiation. And then then I had to heal from that. And I would go every 3 months to see the oncologist, Dr. Wong, at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And on my next visit, she said that the cancer, they do blood work on you, and they can tell from the blood work where the cancer is. And it was still going in my system. It hadn't gone away. It was floating towards my other organs after all this. So then she had to give me oral chemo, which was pink pills, and the pink was the chemo, the oral chemo that was pink on the pills, and I had to take 4,000 milligrams twice a day, and I had to do that for months.
Okay. And how many months was it? Was it 3 to 6?
I got very sick.
Oh, okay.
What?
I'm sorry. I said, how long?
It was months.
How long were?
And
6 months. Okay.
Well, it's over more months. Over 4 months. And
over 4 months. Okay.
I got very sick. Very tired, fatigued. I couldn't. All I would do at the end, all I would do was sleep. I had home health aides come in, And because chemo kills the oral chemo, also kills the good and the bad cells. So it takes a toll on your body. And somebody else could go through it, but you're not walking in their shoes until you have to go through it yourself.
Right. Yes. And my next question was, how long was the entire treatment process?
Well, I started in actually October 4th of 2017, which was the first chemo, and I ended it on by 2000 by January. No wait, by almost 2020. March of 2020, I had my last, end of March, almost April of 2020, I had my last oral chemo pill. So it was a long couple of years.
Yes. Okay, so it was right before COVID or around COVID time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, wow. Yeah. Did COVID affect your treatment process, or it did not?
No, because it was before that, and
okay.
I mean, we just at a Memorial Sloan Kettering, we had to wear masks anyhow because if you had a cough or a cold, you were allowed to be there anyhow. So it didn't affect me in any way. I guess I'm just lucky they found it beforehand. We didn't know COVID was going to happen.
That's right. Yes. And so, when was it official that you were cancer-free? And also, go ahead. How do you know that you're cancer? How does the doctors determine that, or what do they tell you? And then
they do a PET. Okay, they do. I didn't know this either. So they do a PET scan once a year, and they can tell from the first PET scan to the second PET scan the next year, and see if there's any cancer in your body. And then they determine that based on what they see, and then if you have it the second year, the third year, and then they let you know that. I found out in 2021 2021, the end of 2021, like December, that they said I was cancer free.
All right.
They can tell from my
congratulations. Yes, that was.
Thank you.
Yes. Congratulations. I am so happy that you're here with us. You're welcome. And I don't have an applause button and all that, but I really am applauding you. It's this is an amazing journey for you, and I'm so thankful that you're here to share it with us.
Thank you. I said to the radiologist, Dr. Branstein, he had told me, I asked him where he went to medical school, and he said he went to Harvard Medical School in Boston. Yes. And my cousin, I said to him, my cousin's a psychiatrist. He went to Boston, Harvard Medical School, and went for psychiatry, and at Harvard. And I then said to him, "This is a journey I didn't choose to take, but it's a journey I need to finish." And I put that on a T-shirt.
I love that.
One of the nurses at Sloan Kettering told me to put that on a T-shirt, so I put it on a big T-shirt with black letters.
Wow. So what? First of all, can you say the saying one more time? Can you,
sure.
Please?
I said to Dr. Branstein, "This is a journey I didn't choose to take, but it's a journey I need to finish."
Wow. Amazing. This is a journey I need to finish. indeed. So
I was
next,
kind of shocked at myself for saying it to him.
I love that. That quote is just brilliant. And then I have oh, you're welcome. I have a few more questions. After all of the treatment and you're wonderfully cancer free, were there any side effects for you after radiation chemotherapy and the chemotherapy? Was there side effects to you and your body? And if so, can you please let us know what they were or are?
Yes, they were. With the regular, the chemo was usually they put a port in your chest, and they didn't do that with me. They just gave me an IV through my vein, like if you're if they're taking blood, from you.
Mm-hmm.
They did that. They sometimes put a port in somebody. They said if I have to ever go through chemo again, they would have to put a port in me because from having lymphedema, they can't take blood or do a blood pressure cuff on my right arm because that's where my lymphedema is from the lymph nodes being taken out. So I only have my left arm for them to take blood out of. And when you're in the hospital, you know how many times they take blood out of you. So they can also do it in your foot, and they can do it, in other places also, I found out.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was not aware of that they couldn't take blood out of my right arm. I have a bracelet on that says, no blood pressure cuff or needles in your right arm, and I wear that on my left hand.
Oh, okay. And what is the reasoning again for not? Like, why can't they?
Well, what they did was it's like having an injury where they take the lymph nodes out, and it does a blockage to your blood flows through your arm and through the rest of your body, through your lymphatic system, which is throughout your whole body. And it's in your groin, it's in your breast, it's in your chest, it's in your stomach, it's in your armpits, it's in your groin, it's in those areas. I think other areas too. You'd have to look on a chart for lymphatic system. And so the bacteria flows in and out of your body through your blood. And once it's affected, the arm backs up. It's like a helium balloon that blows up, but you can't pop it. So you have to be careful, and you have to wear a glove and sleeve on your arm, and for the rest of your life.
Yes, and I'm going to, if it's okay, I'm going to read the textbook definition of lymphedema. It's actually a chronic swelling that is caused by a buildup of fluid in the lymphs that occurs when the lymphatic system is either faulty or damaged. There is no cure for lymphedema, but it can be effectively treated. And so also I'd like the audience to know, our wonderful listeners to know, that the definition of lymphedema is in the description, as well as what is breast cancer. Okay. So now we are actually right on topic about lymphedema itself. What is it that we can do to support your cause? Because this is what this episode is about. Your cause for lymphedema. For people who have lymphedema. What is the actual issue?
And why is there a need for support and also a treatment act? Why is there a treatment act? So let's start first with what's going on in general with lymphedema and the medical support it should have. Could you just explain, please?
Yes.
I hope I'm saying that clear enough. Yeah.
There's people, you go through physical therapy, which is a regular physical therapist who works on your arms, legs, whatever, when you go through physical therapy, when you have to get, it's called PT or physical therapy. Then there's also a clinical lymphedema.
Excuse me, Arden. It's breaking up a little bit. The sound. Oh. I'm not sure. There we go. I think it's clear again. Okay. Yeah.
There's a PT, which was physical physical therapy, which is regular physical therapy. Then there's you go for extra training as a physical therapist if you're going to be a clinical lymphedema therapist. That's called a CLT, which is clinical lymphedema therapist, and you go to school a little longer than just being a physical therapist because you're doing a specific need and a specific treatment. And that's what lymphedema clinical is. I have lymphedema from breast cancer because they took my lymph nodes out under my armpit because I had cancer in the lymph nodes. But people also get it in their legs too, and you see people with that. So many people have lymphedema, and we see that in television commercials, and we see it. It's just known. People have it, and there's so many people that have it either, like you said, what lymphedema is, through an injury, through surgery, depending on what they had to go through. And in Bakersfield, there is no lymphedema therapist here to treat somebody for lymphedema. I had to go to San Francisco, which is a 2.5 hour drive one way, and 2.5 hours or longer back. And
excuse me, Arden.
Clinical.
Arden, it's can you repeat it because your sound is breaking up, please? Yes, there we go.
Okay.
It's back. I can tell pretty quick.
You there?
Yes. So you said in Bakersfield.
Breast cancer, Bakersfield doesn't have a clinical lymphedema therapist. There's nobody here that can do that work. Where in Chico, where I was before, they had a clinical lymphedema therapist. But Bakersfield, who they had as a therapist here, they left. So they haven't replaced them. So now my doctor is Dr. Cirillo, and he's with CCBC in Bakersfield, and they gave me Jamie Centrocci, who is with Central Coastal Lymphedema out in San Luis Obispo, and I have to go there. They're sending everybody there.
Wow.
That's the closest.
And then what's the
my
distance?
Medical insurance. It's a little over 2.5 hours one way.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. Wow, that's a lot. Excuse me. And so
it's a long drive.
There's no treatment. There's no treatment. No one here who can assist with all the medical facilities within Kern County. No one to assist or help people with lymphedema. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I'm also an advocate for the Lymphedema Treatment Act, where I got a letter from Dianne Feinstein, and I also got an email through one of the, it's HR 3650, which was just passed by the House, and it's going through it's going to the Senate, but it's on Mitch McConnell's desk, and I'm going to be talking to the secretary of one of the senators that brought it into the attention of Congress. It's called the Lymphedema Treatment Act, and that's the garments that we have to wear for either your legs or your arms. It's a glove and a sleeve. It's a compression sleeve, and it's not like the one on TV that they have the commercial for. It's the one that has to be made by measuring your body and your arm or your leg, and they have to make it, fit compression, so that it compresses your arm or your leg so that the swelling doesn't get larger. And it has to it's not paid, not all insurances pay for it. So that's why I'm voicing my knowledge and opinion and trying to get it passed through Congress so that all insurance companies have to pay for our garments.
Yes. This is wonderful. Your advocacy. And also, I want the listener to know, because we have a few more minutes left of our show, but the Lymphedema Treatment Act is it's an active bill. It's in the 117th Congress, which runs from the beginning of 2021 to the end of 2022. The Senate bill was introduced on April 22nd. 2021, assigned a bill number of S1315. Okay, so I'm just going to mention the bill. It's the link to the Lymphedema Treatment Act bill is in the description, and also one moment, and we also would like for you to please contact Congress to act on passing the Lymphedema Treatment Act, okay? And the link for you to contact the Congress is also in our description, all right? And then last but definitely not least, Arden is starting a Lymphedema Treatment Support Group, okay? And it's going to be on Zoom. It starts October 7th. Here in Kern County in Bakersfield, okay, October 7th, and the link to the group is in the description as well. I want to thank Arden Shawn for being our wonderful guest, and thank everyone so much for listening. And is there anything that you wanted to add, Arden? Did I cover everything? Because we have 60 seconds.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. So, I think this ends our show, okay? And thank you all of our listeners. If anyone has any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment box, okay, for Arden, for our guest. And again, the Lymphedema Support Group will begin October 7th on Zoom, and the link will be in the description. We'll also be promoting it on different streaming and social media. Okay? So thank you so much. Thank you, Arden. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yes. And bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.